And we begin. So, you went and saw Divergent the other night.
I did. Yes, it was the first night of my vacation. Someone texted me and said, "You want to go see a movie?" I was like, "Yeah, what's playing?" And
oh, Divergent.
it's like, I haven't read the book. She's like, neither have I. And I'm like, alright, this is a great story. I feel like this is like the worst story.
No, go on. It's gripping me already.
It didn't get interesting until like 20 or 30 minutes till the end of the movie.
Really? Okay.
The problem is the movie literally is 2.5 hours long.
Is it? Okay.
And it feels like about 3.5 hours long. It was
a whole bunch of setup of shit you don't care about, or...
It was just... It felt like there, to me, and again, I haven't read the book, but it felt like the story they could have told would have been far more interesting than the story they actually did tell.
Right.
It felt like I was just watching a live-action version of Mulan. Like, where they... Yeah, where like, I'll make a man out of you, and it's like they take this girl that, like, comes from nothing and, like, turns her into a warrior, you know? Like, I could have stayed at home. I was going to say I could have stayed at home and watched Mulan. That implies I have Mulan at home.
You know you do.
Just the soundtrack.
On vinyl.
I mix it.
Yes. Did you like, you mentioned the running time, did you like the Hunger Games, or did you see the Hunger Games?
I liked when I saw the first one. We went to the theater and saw the first one. The problem was that we went, it was family outing, and my niece had brought one of her friends who would not shut the fuck up.
Oh, that's when you said you walked out of?
Yeah, I literally walked out of the movie, not because of the movie, but because I didn't want my whole experience to be ruined by that.
Okay.
So I was like, no, I'm just going to come back and watch this movie some other time. Like, not at the theater, else I'll come back to this movie later.
Right.
And I have since came back and watched the first one at home, and I liked it, but I have not seen the second one.
Okay. No, but did you feel that, because I know a lot of people that enjoyed the movie still felt the same way that you did about Divergent, where it feels really long, and so I was just curious if you felt that way with the Hunger Games, because I didn't. I
didn't necessarily feel like, because I understand there's going to be some plot that needs to be set up, but at no point during the first Hunger Games movie did I feel like the story they weren't telling would have been more interesting. Like, there's a whole, like, thing that is kind of just gloss over in Divergent, which is, like, how this world even came to be.
Right.
Like, why the world is factioned off into, like, 5 different groups of people.
Right.
And I'm like, how did we get there? Like, talk about that.
Don't worry about that. You just
just accept it.
Surely you read the book, otherwise you wouldn't be here.
Okay, yeah, that's exactly right.
Well, no, I was asking because I know that I take the same issue with adaptations of certain book series when the production behind it feels like they made it for fans in that way that they gloss over stuff that, well, we don't need to spend time on this because you get the point. You've read the book.
Well, so the thing is, I don't know what they covered in the book. The only thing I know about the book is the reviews I read of the movie after we went and saw the movie. They kind of complained. They complained similarly that the movie felt like it was too long, but they also complained that the book did the same thing.
Okay.
Like, the book kind of felt long-winded in that. So, I guess in that respect, the movie is true to the book.
Okay.
But I don't know what they covered in the book. They could have not really explained the thing I missed in the movie as well. So.
Well, and without having read that particular series, I'm thinking that maybe if the book did it, it didn't feel as sort of time-consuming, if that's the right word. Just it didn't feel as obvious in the book, maybe because of certain things you can get away with spending pages talking about, the layout of a forest or a setting or something. And if you try to do that in a book, or not a book, in a movie, it's going to be 3 hours of long plotting shit. And so because you can't do the same things in a book that you can necessarily do in a movie when it comes to story structure, visual narrative versus the written word. And so I'm thinking if it lingered like that in the book, maybe it wasn't as bad because of the format.
I'm going to give these books the benefit of the doubt. Maybe I shouldn't. That something has to distinguish them apart from one another. Like Divergent, The Hunger Games, what is that? City of... What's that other...
Mortal Instruments?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. That whole series, like... I'm going to assume that the books must feel different than their counterparts, because the movies that they're making feel like I'm watching the same exact friggin' story over and over again.
Well, oddly enough, not oddly enough, but I've only ever read the first Hunger Games book. And that was pretty true to the movie. The movie was pretty true to the book. It didn't take a lot of creative license with the material. I thought the first Hunger Games movie was really good, and then reading the book, I thought it was well told. I mean, I'm not a literary expert by any stretch, but I know that I wasn't bored. It was enough of a page turner that, especially for having already seen the movie and knowing what happens, it had the same energy I felt that the movie had. So I'd sort of dubbed that a success.
Yeah, it seems like that's the only franchise that really has anything going for it is the Hunger Games. Like,
yeah, I mean,
what I would come back to is
and it's the only one that seems to, from what I've noticed both with the first and second, it's the only one I've noticed that people who haven't read the book, just your average man on the street, came away from like, yeah, that was really good. And as opposed to, that's what I'm saying. It feels like Divergent and Twilight. The movies themselves don't have to be good in that way that brings in not fans. Because I won't want to. I can watch a movie and not necessarily. I like the Harry Potter movies decently enough. I don't care thing one about going back and ever reading the books, just because I didn't love the movies that much. I love them just enough to enjoy them as movies. But so I don't think your average person's really going to go back and watch Twilight and then go read the books.
No. No.
Yeah, and like it feels like if you've read, you come to the movies of Twilight from the books. You've read the books, or you're reading the books as the movies, depending on your age range. You're reading them as the movies are coming out. But I would like to meet the non-adolescent girl who goes and sees the movies first and then goes back and watches and reads the books, which is a shame because a lot of these.
I'm sure they're out there.
Well, no, I'm sure there are too.
And I'm sure you actually wouldn't want to read them.
I'm sure I probably have. No, the thing though is, I guess the reason that Twilight doesn't bother me the way that does some people, I can mock it and sort of make jokes, but from a non-hostile place.
Not anywhere as good as bad lip reading can do it, though.
What? Bad
lip reading. Oh my god.
Well,
I would watch that. It's so funny.
I will say that the reason that Twilight doesn't bother me or anger me is because in the sort of yin and yang of youth literature, Twilight and Bella doesn't bother me in ways that I'll get to another literary character that does bother me. But Bella and Twilight doesn't bother me because there is Katniss and the Hunger Games that sort of offset it. Yeah. You've got it, and basically the only.
Hopefully, the people that found her as a role model will also find like Katniss.
Right, exactly, and thankfully the adolescent females that are all about Twilight also are big Hunger Games fans. So I've said like you can like mindless, low-level crap as long as you also like and you acknowledge basically other quality pieces of whatever art you're talking about.
I don't see Elizabeth Banks in any of those other movies, so screw them all.
Exactly.
Except for Hunger Games.
Except for Hunger Games. That got me thinking she probably has a cameo just to prove your theory wrong.
Oh no.
She's in the background. There you is. No, but the Hunger Games is the only one that I've noticed has people that don't even and to me I think that's the secret of a successful movie adaptation. And it's the sort of mindset I really think you should take into, and I say this because if you look at the examples I'm going to mention, they've made money. They haven't just made decent money, they've been really good box office contenders. Is if you walk in, I'm going to make this movie adaptation of this existing material.
I'm going to get people in seats who have not even read the original.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's like, if the formula being, we're going to get the fans no matter how big of a piece of shit this is. That's just Star Wars and Twilight has proven that money's locked in and secured. We're getting that no matter what we give them.
By the way, this is like 2 or 3 weeks after we recorded the last one. It's not like we just like broke the first podcast up. Because it feels like we exactly picked up talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
It's your fault for seeing Divergent. No, but we're segueing into literature a little bit too, though.
Literature?
Literary adaptation.
Twitter? Is that you?
No, literature.
like
Literature.
read stuff, like Twitter, right?
Well, yeah, you read stuff on Twitter, but literature is...
I don't understand.
Are you serious? Are you...
Okay,
I was like, oh my god. No, it's like that.
The extent of my reading pretty much these days is Twitter, though.
Okay, well, no, I had to give that a bit of
that's so sad.
credence, just because you ever know that person, like, it's like here's this seasoned old man who's really, really smart, and he's really insightful, and you, what the Holocaust didn't happen? Ah, shit, there's that one thing that took you by surprise because you wouldn't expect that to come out of their mouth.
And it changes your perspective of them, like...
Well, not even that, just it causes you to sort of like, how did that not come up? How did we get this far? I'm not going to drop you necessarily.
Just assume that you believe the Holocaust happened. Yeah. It doesn't really come up over dinner that often.
Well, no, it's all the more reason why when it does, it's sort of, wait, what? You go, okay. No, but the idea of adapting a book to a movie or a TV show into a movie.
Fans are going to see it regardless.
Fans are going to see it regardless. So why don't we go and shoot and go for gold and make a movie that you don't have to have read the books or seen the TV show and to enjoy and to understand it, to feel connected with. And that formula, I feel, worked in the Hunger Games films. It worked in J.J. Abrams' Star Trek reboot, and there are a couple other examples that escape me at the moment. But where I talk to people who either said I've never watched an episode or read a book of this series in my life, or the even better ones are the ones like, I don't like source material, but this was good. This was a good movie or good. Yeah, to me that should be the goal of future adaptations. And you could say, well, maybe that was the goal and they just failed. With something like Twilight, for example, it feels like that wasn't even priority to them at all. They were like, you know what, the millions of dollars we're going to get from that'll be enough for us. And it's a shame, because I know it's kind of an artsy sort of thing to say you should aspire for more fans or more viewers than that, but you shouldn't you? I mean, how does that not sort of segue into a business model? It's like that, if you're making this much money by not doing anything but the bare minimum, then if you went here, imagine how much money you could make.
But there's a reason why people are always dogging Hollywood in general, because
they're lazy.
They are uninspired.
Okay, well,
someone says something enough times and it becomes cliche. Well, it's cliche for a reason. Like people.
Right. That's fair enough, I guess. If you look at like an artist making a Star Trek, which is weird, an artist making a Star Trek reboot versus a committee or a machine making a Twilight franchise or something. But it's weird though, because you see there's like 3 different levels. There's Twilight, Harry Potter, and then Star Trek. Where Twilight was we phoned this in because that's all that we needed to do. Harry Potter was like we pretty much stayed with the source material, but that went over well with people who hadn't even read the books. And then you've got something where you were able to say, maybe it's because it's a TV show and more people were apt to be able to see the various incarnations of the Star Trek universe to the point where they were like, I hate this shit, or it's have a more negative opinion of it from having watched it and still walk into this movie. And that was actually pretty good.
I'm always amazed at the movies that are based on some sort of source material, and you have people who weren't even fans of it. If you get a lot of those people that say they weren't even fans of it, but they really loved the movie, it always seems like those are the movies that also inversely piss off the loyal fan base.
I suppose so, yeah. I mean, that's most likely happened more times than I can think of at the moment, but I guess at that point I turn back around and I'm like, well, fuck them. Then they've got their source material.
Seriously.
Then the rest of us deserve and I guess that's probably my reason for having a fuck you mentality to the comic book realm or world is, if you don't like this, you've got a wealth of
Sorry, this one particular movie wasn't for you. You have a whole anthology of.
Well, yeah, and that's sort of what I was sort of in that fuck you camp when the other 2 Matrix movies came out after the first.
I pretend like the other 2 didn't exist.
Okay, so
I watched the first one, and then to me that's where it ends. Because those other 2 were horrible. Okay,
and
it's kept getting worse.
See, and that's the funny thing is like I by no means will defend the cinematic quality of 2 and 3. I like them, but I like them for a very specific reason that usually calls into question the two different kinds of Matrix fans. Fans like like yourself and one of my other friends who basically the movie and the story is over after the first one. It's done.
Like I can put the other two on just on the TV and just with no volume and just have it. It's a nice screensaver.
Right, and I think and that's the thing is that I found did you like the first Matrix when it came out like back?
We saw them all in the theater.
Okay, but when that first one came out and after the Super Bowl commercials and stuff and the trailers, oh crap, bullet time, and it opens and you go. Did you walk out of there like, oh, that was
amazing?
Okay,
mind blown.
Okay, I walked out of there. I was excited about the trailers. I was fit to be tied and excited as I could be because it looked phenomenal.
And you weren't blown away.
I go in there and I walked out, and I stayed for the whole movie. I didn't walk out of the movie, but when the movie was done and we were leaving the theater, I felt disappointed.
Overhyped, huh?
And I tried to. I was like, but everybody around me, oh man, it was great. And I sat there and I'm not usually a dissensionist when it comes to, especially considering what brought me there. It was everything. I got everything the trailer indicated, but I still felt underwhelmed. And I after much introspection, I figured out that for me, what ended up happening was I'm sitting there watching this, and it felt like an hour and 45 minutes of, whenever you get here, Neo, this world, I'm going to tell you about this world. In this world, all this cool shit that I'm going to tell you about happens once you become, and once you figure out and become the one. All right, cool. And then you get a little bit of a fight, with Agent Smith there at the end, and he comes into his own, becomes the one, and it's over. I found myself thinking, like, well, if I don't get some kind of movie showing me this playground or this screensaver, as you put it, I'm going to feel gypped because that's what I wanted to see. And I understand they didn't necessarily have the budget that they had to keep it, somewhat simplistic. I get it, but that's why I went with bells on to the second one, and ended up having a good time with the second one. If nothing else, from the point of view, I got the playground, the smash 'em up, bash 'em up playground that I was sort of promised and told about and sold on in the first movie, but never really got, save for a subway fight. Having said that, I realized that the script itself is muddled as shit, and the narrative aspects of 2 and 3 I won't defend for 1 second, because if it wasn't for the fact that I was being satisfied for the things that I was looking for in 2 and 3 really just being some sort of conclusion. I don't really care about 3, but I sort of feel like, much like with the Terminator franchise, you got to give us one movie that's just fighting in a post-apocalyptic kind of scenario. Otherwise, that's what you've been telling us about through this entire franchise. You're going to have to show it, because otherwise it's just going to feel like this big open thing. I usually fast forward. Honestly, I would probably chunk the third one in the bin, were it not for the fact that I wanted my one final Neo Smith fight, because something happened that I didn't expect in 2, which was Agent Smith to take on sort of the role that he took. I figured, I'm the face of the Matrix like he was in the first one, and then they branch him off and make him his own character and threat to the proceedings in the second one. I wasn't expecting that, and that's probably about the only part of the story that I genuinely liked and wanted to see reach some sort of, Akira side, level conclusion in the third one. So there are things that I feel I got what I wanted out of 2 and 3. When I hear people just like, man, fuck 2 and 3. I hate 2 and 3.
There's such a really sour taste in my mouth. I remember when I went to Blockbuster and the whole collection came out on DVD, and we were selling it for $299 or something like that, and people were buying it. I'm like, you are wasting your money. And now it's they've re-released it on Blu-ray. I saw it on
$20.
I follow Best Buy deal of the day on Twitter. I think they had the whole collection on Blu-ray for it was $20-something, and I was like, do I want to spend that just for the one movie and maybe the Animatrix?
The Animatrix was good.
I like the Animatrix, but I was like, do I want to spend that just to I feel like I'd be wasting money, spending any amount of money on those other 2 movies. Like, do I need 2 more coasters? I don't really.
Hey, you know what? Then buy them and give them to me. I'll take them. I'll give them a good home.
And I have like these 2 like empty spots. That's what I think about those.
That's on principle. Exactly. Emptiness. That's what they left me.
Just take some pictures of me flipping off my camera, print them out, put them there, cut them into little circles.
And people.
Why are these 2 pictures of like your fingers?
Because that's what the movie's worth to me. No, but honestly, for $20, I'd buy it just because everything I enjoyed. This is what's great about DVDs. Everything I enjoyed about 2 and 3 doesn't require me to watch the whole damn movie. Thank God for chapter selections. I'll just go to my favorite fight scenes, watch those, be on my list.
You can also watch like Matrix supercuts of fight scenes on YouTube.
Oh, absolutely. This is more for like just Blu-ray. If I'm watching them on my TV, if I just want to watch it on on a bigger screen than my laptop. $20 if I haven't already bought the first one. I'm going to pay close to that for the first one. Fuck it, if they're gonna.
You can probably walk in and just steal it, and no one would even stop you.
Wait,
like, thank you for getting that off our shelf.
Well, it does have the animatrix on it though too, and that wouldn't be bad to have in Blu-ray.
I'm actually more interested in the commentary, like the making of stuff. I'm curious as whether any of that's been updated for the Blu-ray.
Oh, for the Blu-ray, I don't know. I think there's a documentary that has like. But I don't think they went. I don't think they went back and.
It makes me wish that Attack of the Show was still on.
They tell you.
Because like I would watch Chris Gore on Tuesdays, and he would like tell you like if the DVD itself was worth buying based on like the special features that were included on it.
Because Lord knows you couldn't go to Amazon and just look at a spec list of what it's got on it.
Have you tried reading the detailed anything on Amazon? Like whether or not you're buying anything, a TV, a pair of socks, like. It's such their website's so. I try to look at like the details and stuff like that, and like I don't like. Okay, I'm sorry, off topic. But I don't want any of the reviews or anything like that until after I read everything about the product.
Okay.
And it seems like you scroll and you're presented with the product, and then people also looked at this.
Yeah.
And then here are some specs, and then here's some reviews, and then here's like more details about the like. It's all out of order to me. Like
I think I know what you're talking about. I've got this thought in my head that maybe Amazon's getting lazy and like fuck it, we'll just let the customers or like somebody, some asshole for the Lady Gaga CD is gonna in his review list all the tracks and his thoughts on the tracks in there.
That'll be enough.
Well, no, it's like okay, some goober is gonna go and do our work for us. All we gotta do is post it, some suggestions, and then post reviews, and our job's done. That's from what I can guess, but. As far as DVDs, if like what commentaries it has on it, although it seems weird, is that sometimes it seems like Amazon's spec listings seem a little too Wikipedia, where like anybody can alter this shit, and like it just sort of seems all at once detailed and vague at the same time. Like, hold on, I'm just looking to see if this has commentary, or I think there was a it was for the From Dusk Till Dawn Blu-ray that I was wanting to get, and a review had said that the North American release sucks. I guess the transfer's shitty. Just everything about it is crap. To the point, if I'm not mistaken, the From Dusk Till Dawn packaging for the Blu-ray, if you look on the back of it, it has a character that's from like the third one. This isn't like a box set. This is just the first movie, and the back of it has a character that's not even that's in like the third movie they made. And I'm like, wow. I'm going to assume that's a fuck up that the production house, when they were getting their clip art.
That's not just a fuck up, Brandon. That is a class action lawsuit.
Yeah, exactly. Because the 2 different studios own the 2 different movies.
I hate when I watch a trailer for a movie and the scene isn't even in the movie.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I've been misled.
Well, you've been the victim of lazy trailer making, and that like they made that trailer before Final Cut was done, and the scene got cut.
Yeah, sometimes like they'll make a trailer that tells a different story than what the movie even tells.
Oh yeah.
By leaving that scene in there or something, like.
Well, okay, if you're well, yeah. I mean, I found that happens less with leaving scenes in there that later would go on to get cut, as much as mislead. Now, if you mean that, I've had that happen. But I've also had movie trailers where That is misleading as shit. Not because of what you put in here, but just your entire trailer made this seem like a movie that's about, boxing when you get there and it's actually about rowboating, or, in the case of this...
Wait, a trailer that led you to believe it was about boxing, and you saw the movie and it was actually about rowboating.
Yeah.
That'd
actually be kind of cool, and that'd be a feat to pull off for sure. No, there was I don't know if you remember the movie Primeval.
The movie Primeval?
Yeah.
No.
The movie, okay. There's this movie called Primeval, and I forget, it's got a bunch of B-listers in it, but the advertising campaign just gives you, the specs of mass murderers, like, Jeffrey Dahmer, killed however many people, and just the list of killers that have killed, like, a bunch, as high numbers of people, and then they list this one, I forget how they label him, he's killed like, hundreds and hundreds of people, and like Primeval. You go to the damn movie, you watch the movie, it's like about a big fucking alligator or crocodile. But yeah, and so they don't show you any. That's the teaser trailer is the only trailer until maybe a home video release. Once they realize, fuck it, everyone realizes this is a big damn crocodile or alligator movie. But just that's so sort of, I would say misleading. But then I think to myself, why would they call it Primeval? It's just. But
I'm almost getting confused with that British sci-fi show about the dinosaurs. Isn't there a show called Primeval?
There might be. It's possible. Sounds like the Brits pull some shit like that. No, but just...
Shiesty fuckers.
Well, that's like a good movie title, Shiesty fuckers.
I would see that movie.
Yeah,
I don't know what it's about.
Could be about rowboating. A rowboating movie called Shiesty fuckers. No, but there's... they don't do it as much anymore. I guess they started to get flack for it, but back in the early to mid-90s, they would do a lot of those trailers where there's lines and things that Mortal Kombat, oddly enough, had one of the worst ones where like there's a line in there that's it's funny and throwaway, but it's put in there for some sort of dramatic action emphasis. It's not in the movie at all, and it can be anywhere from like disorienting to sort of a bummer, because if it's something that you really liked, I've sat through a movie going, okay, when are they going to get to the part where they're at the ice cream shop, and they never go. Just whatever that scene was that they showed. Happens in comedies, I've noticed more, and I'm guessing because with a drama, it's harder to cut something out that big without it impacting the narrative, whereas a comedy, you can get like, hey, this seemed funny at the time, but it didn't make the final cut of Ace Ventura 2, but yeah, when it does, I know there's been some drama where
there was a movie specifically that's the
sticks out.
It's the example in my mind that always pissed me off.
You remember it?
There's a 2002 movie called City by the Sea. It's a Robert De Niro movie.
Yeah,
and James Franco's character in the trailer, like Robert De Niro's like getting on to him about like killing a cop or shooting a cop or something like that. The line is,
"You killed a cop."
You killed a cop, or and in the movie it's the same exact line, but the movie has nothing to do with him killing a cop. Like the line isn't uttered that way. It's uttered like the word "cop" has been replaced with like a person. Like not the cops are. Yeah, cops aren't people. Let's get that going. Yeah, cops.
You killed a 12-pack of beer.
Yeah. I just remembered like the gravity of the trailer made it seem like so much more severe than what ended up actually happening in the movie.
Yeah, wasn't his son just a piece of shit that got like in trouble with like a gang, like a mob or something, or there was some he was just a degenerate, if I'm not mistaken.
James Franco, I mean,
he's playing himself. No, yeah, that's
not true.
No, they've done things like that for dramatic effect, and that's kind of in its own throwaway kind of way what Mortal Kombat did, where I don't know do you remember Mortal Kombat at all, like the movie, like
I remember that it exists.
Okay, well there's the epic battle at the end of when Liu Kang fights Shang Tsung, and in the trailer it's like Liu Kang yells something like you can't run from me, Shang, and in the trailer right before like the theme song starts listing off like the characters in the when they do it in the song, he just like kind of grits his teeth and like, I don't need to run, and like they start listing off the characters. that's the trailer before the music just really hits hard. You're sitting there, that scene's in the movie, that part's not in there at all, and it's just
like the lines. You're not expecting like characters to flash across the screen.
No. I'm expecting you can't run from me, Shang. I don't need to run. It's like it's not there, and it feels like it should be, because in the thing they're fighting, and Liu Kang's not not getting defeated, and it's almost just like Shang Tsung runs up these stairs, and Liu Kang runs after him, and they kind of stop, and like they look at each other, and it almost feels like when you're watching the movie, that's where this line would go, but in place of this line, it's just almost like silence, and it's just like a bad decision to cut it out, because it would have taken 5 seconds, it's weird.
I always just feel like like, especially when you're inundated with the trailer, you've been presented this trailer in front of every movie you've seen for the last 2 months, and you know that's how a scene played out, or in your mind that's how you expected it to play out.
Right.
And then something doesn't go that way. I'm like, I've been lied to in a sense.
Yeah.
Like, whether or not it would have made the movie worse or better, like, I expected it. That's what you told me was going to be in the movie, and then it wasn't there. I want my money back, and I want an apology.
Well, oddly enough, I felt that way about the soundtrack for The Matrix, oddly enough, because they made sure in their initial TV campaign to advertise featuring a soundtrack by, Marilyn Manson, Rob Zombie, Rage Against the Machine.
Yes, but you also don't have to, when you go buy those soundtracks, you also have to, like, find the scores are often produced separately.
Sure. What I'm saying, though, is that with that particular one, and they didn't lie, because those artists were in the movie, but I felt tricked because you didn't tell me featuring remixes by these people. So just about every song that I got in the movie was some remix. So when you're on Pandora, and like you can tell they don't have licensing for certain songs except either live versions or remixes, and so you're just you're bombarded by the Metallica channel that has like everything but the stuff in their actual albums, and you'll get acoustic shit before you'll get anything from the actual album, because they didn't acquire the rights.
John Mayer covering this Metallica song.
I would actually listen. I wouldn't pay for that, but I would listen to it.
If it came over my Pandora, I would not skip it.
Exactly. I would wait before I
would probably create a channel around that.
John Mayer Metallica. But no, that's the sort of it ranges from deception to poorly produced, poorly executed advertising and trailers. But like I said, I haven't noticed them doing it as much lately as I did. It was running rampant in the early to mid '90s, and probably I found they started to do a new kind of thing that I'm glad they've hopefully just been laughed at or somebody's gotten fired over. The teaser trailers that they put out. I understand a teaser and what a teaser is supposed to do. It either doesn't want to or can't give you too much because they've not finished the movie, or they don't want to show you anything. They're teasing you. I get it. That Luc Besson movie, The Fifth Element, I remember working at a movie theater when that movie was coming out, and all the teaser was outer space, weird sort of ethereal music, and at some point you got like the number 5, before The Fifth Element. Okay, cool. Nothing to it. That is just your basic level teaser. And it was like, oh, what's that all about? And so it gets your curiosity up until the point that trailer comes out. The two that rang to me as like, this is bullshit, were when that movie Hannibal came out. The year before it came out, they started putting out a teaser for it, and all the teaser was words on a screen. And then right before you got Hannibal, you got real quick stock footage
of the first movie,
from Silence of the Lambs.
Just him in the mask, right?
Either that or where he's just behind the glass and just he's giving a smile or whatever. He's in like the blue.
I seem to remember that.
Yeah, and that's it. And the same thing oddly, and to me that was a harbinger of the shitty movie that I was in for when it came out. So
I remember seeing the movie in theaters.
I did too.
Packed theater. Yeah. There was like a 12-year-old girl sitting next to me.
You bought her ticket.
No, it was so packed that you had to sit next to strangers, which I don't necessarily like.
Right.
And I was like, what are you doing here? Like,
I'm here to see Hannibal, fool.
And like, I flinched more than she did.
All right.
Like guy got gutted, like put out the window or whatever.
She's like pussy.
Like, I'm sorry, it's gross.
No, but there was that one, and then, and I know I don't care, but it's an example of saying, like, why do you care? Because this movie's, fucking shit anyway. But
I've wondered about every movie we've talked about so far, but it's okay.
Well, it's not that my hopes for dashed for that movie to be good. It's just that I guess shit begets shit when it comes to the teaser. But the other one was for 102 Dalmatians.
I never saw it.
I never saw any of those movies either. I just know that I took offense at the notion that, first of all, is that really a movie you need to tease a year in advance? Really? I wasn't aware that it broke box office records to the point where, like, you need to get people pumped up. But really, they did the same thing. All they did, they ended up using a stock footage scene from the first movie. And it wasn't even like where they talk. I'm sitting there thinking, I don't know, you internet audience, when you go to a movie and you see a trailer, especially if it's for something maybe that you want to see, do you get hyped up by old footage, or is it the idea that you'll get to, even if it's just the quickest kind of thing, oh shit, it's so-and-so character again, but they took at least 2 seconds to film a teaser of a current, yeah. I don't know. To me, I figure it takes 2 seconds. You could go while you're filming the fucking thing around the corner and film this real quick. Hey, go in close. Say something to the screen about where are those puppies, or just 2 seconds. The bitch is already in the outfit.
Those puppies.
Just something like that, so that
people are still walking up to Glen Close now.
Where are those puppies? But so that way you can at least go, all right, black screen, like something. Words, build up. And only one thing standing in their way, and then boom!
It seems weird to me that they would have teased that movie a year in advance. Anyway, because kids are so like in the moment. Kids like things for like the 10 minutes that they can remember. They like
right, yeah.
Like you could tell them the day before it comes out that it's coming out, and they're going to go see it anyway.
Right.
Tell them a year and a half.
That was my point. Is like, is this really the kind of thing that we need to tease that far in advance?
I think a lot of those teaser trailers to me probably come out of necessity of showing stockholders what they have coming out.
Filling a spot, right? An obligation.
They need to show people hey, this is coming out first quarter of our fiscal year next year. Put this whole thing together to show you. Right. Oh, we got it together. We also show them too.
Right. Right. Well, I imagine there's probably some sort of we need to fill a spot, and I know there's some weird way that trailers work when it comes to like the studio, like you have to, for a movie, a theater chain gets these movies in, and they have to, I guess, fulfill an obligation for you have to take these trailers, you have to show these trailers. I've read this at some point. I forgot what it was concerning, but there's a whole system for it that's between the studios and the movie chain and the theater chains, and so I don't know.
I think that part comes from the fact that, because movie studios used to own the theaters,
right,
and they used to only show their stuff, right. And I think now because of they had to get away from that because because of monopoly.
Monopoly, right.
So now I think they're obligated to show stuff from other.
Well, sure. They can, but then now you notice that the studios will sort of put that in the contract. If you're going to, hey, United Artists Theaters, if you're going to purchase or rent or lease however many copies of the Hunger Games, you have to show these trailers the first 2 weeks, and you have to premiere this trailer with this movie as a condition of, because since they don't have to, they can go and get movies from everybody. The United Artists chain can get movies from Paramount, from 20th Century Fox, right. From New Line. So it's like they have to sort of slip those trailers into the contracts of the. I've found otherwise, I guess maybe there would be a payola kind of thing where New Line's paying us shitloads of money to run only new. Okay, my point is
for the new Scream movie that's coming out.
Right.
That's Dimension, isn't it? Are they still open? Is that?
I think New Line. They're all still open. They're just distribution companies, and you're probably not going to notice Dimension as much anymore because they're still around, but you probably have to rent or watch the.
I just want to see Touchstone come across my screen.
I think Touchstone just got put out to pasture
because that just means that I'm getting a new Jurassic Park movie, and I'm okay with that.
Touchstone.
Or E.T. or something. This feels like that's the kind of like movie I associate with Touchstone.
Oddly enough, with Touchstone, I associate like Miami Rhapsody and some of these weird early '90s, like Antonio Banderas. These funky sort of situation comedies, because like that's Turner and Hooch. I think is because that's
yes,
yeah, exactly. That's
I want that. I want more Turner and Hooch.
But yeah, I Dimension. Yeah, got me thinking about Dimension, and that reeks of mid '90s.
I don't generally like teaser trailers just because I think that it's a lot of wasted time for such little information.
Sure.
But what I do like now here in the age of Instagram and Vine is that studios are actually putting out like literally a teaser trailer. Like it's a 6-second or 15-second video that you can watch on Instagram. Like,
oh, okay.
That's fine. Little of my time was wasted. I'm kind of excited about the 6 seconds of that movie I just saw.
Well, nowadays you kind of have to get the like they're sort of clinging to some outdated exclusivity of a theater trailer release when you could just premiere it on YouTube
for free, right?
And I kind of think that the notion of it's sort of like when they were when they put the first 5 minutes or whatever of the most recent Batman movie at the beginning of whatever IMAX movie was coming out. Although now that I think about it, I realize they did that because the clips they were showing from the Batman movie were on IMAX cameras, so they were showing that like, hey, we could show that at just Studio Movie Grill, but there wouldn't be much point to it.
Right.
But it's like nowadays when I go to a movie, I still like seeing, even though I complain about Jesus, it's like 15 minutes worth of trailers. I still dig that more than I don't, but I just wish that like some of these movies, I guess because they play them often enough with all sorts, if you go to movies somewhat regularly, you've
already seen the trailer.
And if it's one like fuck, I Frankenstein, shit, I gotta sit through this damn thing again. And it always seems like the shitty ones, and this is probably just my speculation, it always seems like the shitty ones, like I Frankenstein, are the ones they run everywhere.
I don't understand. How could any movie have Bill Nighy in it? I just say his last name, Bill Nighy.
Yeah, like Nike, only with a G. Nighy.
It's like Nike, but with a G.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's how he tells people.
You don't understand how any movie with him in it could be bad?
Exactly.
Oh, man, and then you haven't looked at his IMDb page. This is, as a fan...
A little bit of a sarcasm.
I'm a fan, although it bums me out that he's in like a bunch of shit, too.
He's a really good actor.
Yeah, I genuinely like him a lot.
I saw some Masterpiece Theater thing with him in the other day. Like, he played like he wasn't retired, he was just like he worked for some sort of espionage. Okay. But that wasn't really his job anymore. He was kind of more of a desk person. Yeah. And some shit was going on around him, and it was just really we brought her up the last time we talked. She was in The Mummy.
Oh, Rachel Weisz?
Yeah, Rachel Weisz in it.
Wait, this was a Masterpiece Theater movie?
Yeah, it was on PBS.
Okay, because for some reason I don't even know. For some reason my brain's going to Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
I always wanted to watch that.
I did too. I have it. I just haven't watched it.
I can say that about so many movies. So many movies. I have it. Never watched it.
Did you do that too?
Tons of movies I have that I've never seen before.
I feel bad because it's like that's one genuinely. Hey, Bill Nye, the science guy, and Colin Firth. Basically, just a bunch of people that actors acting actorly in this cool British spy movie that I've heard is boring as shit. People either think it's boring as shit or oh my god, it's awesome, and I want to find out which side I weigh in on. I just haven't watched it yet, and I know I will at some point, and it'll probably be a lackluster thing because I've built it up too much in my head.
I think there's so much competition for movie trailers though. The reason that you still see the same half dozen trailers for the few weeks at a time that you're going to see the movies, you keep seeing you're being exposed to the same movies.
What I was saying, what I meant to say with that was I have to sit through I Frankenstein shitloads of times, but yet you'll get a cool trailer, and I'm blanking. I'm trying to think of the last.
I can't think of a cool movie trailer I saw.
But no, you'll get one oh my god, that was pretty badass, and it'll be hard. It'll be hard to find. Luckily, the only thing that brings me peace is that if I know that I'm not seeing it there, usually by the time that trailer's been out, I can go to YouTube and it's
That's
on.
the thing is, I subscribe to a YouTube channel that does nothing but post trailers for movies, and I'm always amazed at the number of movies I never see a trailer for in theater, and versus like that come up on this feed from them. I'm like, where are all these movie trailers in my theater?
Oh right, yeah.
And they're not all like shit B movie like direct to video movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's movies that I expect to see the trailer for in the theater, and I never get it. And I'm like,
It is weird how I guess it's that system that I was making mention of where it's sort of like the studio thinks we're going to push for these. I don't know if it's either because they feel that strongly about it or maybe because like we need to push for this because I kind of have a theory that they bombard the theaters with I, Frankenstein trailers because they know it's a shit movie, but they need to push that one further because that's one they know they need to recoup their money on, as opposed to
a movie that would sell itself.
Like a movie that I remember just seeing the poster for, which is a shame because the poster was in fact kind of a detractor from me going to see the movie. A movie I really ended up enjoying was About Time. Is
that the other one that has been 90 years?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the one I saw recently, the trailer for it, and I was like, I want to see that movie.
Okay, exactly. I made my top 10 list last year. Really good. I don't know if you're a fan of Love Actually or Notting Hill.
No, that's why I want to see it, because they're quality movies.
If you like those, then it's of that caliber and it's really, really good. And I remember all that I remember getting at the theater was the cover of the box, which is basically a close-up of a mid-laugh, Rachel, whatever the girl's name. She's in Mean Girls, and I feel bad because I know who I should know.
Rachel McAdams.
McAdams, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a picture of her, laughing. And I'm like, that's. But I guess the studios figured, you know what, Curtis Hanson, I think not Curtis Hanson. Curtis Hanson did L.A. Confidential. The guy, Richard Curtis, the guy that did Love Actually and Notting Hill. I guess they figured he's got his following, and that a poster that says from the creator of these movies is enough that sight unseen, even if you're sort of off put by Rachel McAdams in mid laugh, you're going to go see it, which is a shame because I didn't. Because
I saw the trailer like twice, and then by the time I saw the trailer, it seems like
it was already gone.
It was already on video.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one of those movies I'm always curious, whether or not it did well over there versus over here.
Right. It probably, by the sheer fact that it was sort of here and gone, not like it bombed. I don't think it's considered bombing because they didn't put any advertising behind it.
So
they just sort of tossed it out there. It floated in theaters for a couple of weeks and then it was gone. But that's a shame because that's genuinely a quality flick that didn't get any kind of. And I probably don't want to be bombarded by advertisements for that one either. Even the good stuff, it's almost worse when you get. I guess I would rather be bombarded by I, Frankenstein than trailers for a movie that I really like. Just be sort of saturated, like, God, I like this movie, but I'm sick of seeing this trailer. Right. But it's just still sort of funny to think that somebody at a studio is like, fuck it, we can just, slap this up. That's also my issue. I'm very, very big on movie posters too, and think that even more so than trailers, you can litter a movie theater with posters far easier than you can having the placement of the trailers in the movies. And I still see just some posters that like this. Who the fuck designed this? Like this is really, and I can't place the sort of formula of, well, if it's a shitty poster, it's a shitty movie, because there have been plenty of movies that have been genuinely really, really good that have had just shitty posters to them. But yeah, just the advertising and the marketing for movies is sometimes
it kind of perplexes me.
It's like, what's the rationale? I'm sure there's got to be something.
Especially with movie posters, 9 times out of 10 when I look at a movie poster, I'm like, what is this movie about? Unless it's like a sequel to something that's already been established, I'm usually looking at a poster going, that could be good or that could be horrible. I have no idea. It's
well, and I get the bitch of movie posters though is that by their very definition, I guess, since they don't move and can't talk and can't give more information, you've got fewer choices of design specs for a poster. and I've got probably 300 plus movie posters that I've been collecting since the beach.
Are you serious?
Since high school. I got my beach.
How do you have like none of them up?
I will get if you never came over. You never were at my house in high school, but I had them literally like wallpapered, ceiling and wall just covered in movie posters.
That's what you could do after you put all these movies.
Just take the
on hard drives. Take the paper out and just make wallpaper out of all your.
I'm not
art.
17 anymore. It's like that. I had that for numerous. Even in my early to mid 20s, I had it when I lived with my dad again. As far as that's concerned, I have a few choice ones back there. I'm going to get framed.
I want the same. Like if you go to the movie theater now, and instead of in lieu of posters, sometimes they're doing like digital representations of the posters that cycle through. Like,
yeah, that's kind of cool.
I wouldn't mind having like a TV just dedicated to like cycling through all the movie posters.
That's really all they're doing is making those digital picture frames that you can buy at the store.
Turn your TV on its side and showing you a movie poster. Like if I had money to waste, I'd be like, I want some sort of art in a TV above my mantle.
If you took something, I'm pointing at a poster on my wall. If you took something that size that just cycled through, that wouldn't be bad. That would actually be really, because then you could just get the images off the internet and put them on there. But point being, my original thing was that with posters, with movies, you got a couple of different choices. If it's you either go star power, meaning it's like we've got it depends what kind of movie you're doing. If you're doing a romantic comedy, or if you're doing a porn. No, but like if you're doing a wacky comedy, if you're doing the Heat with Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy, you're just gonna slap those two on the cover in some sort of funny sort of like sort of pose, and then all that poster cares about is letting you know that Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy are in this movie. Maybe one tagline. That's it.
And most likely the movie poster is going to have a little less of Melissa McCarthy than what you actually get in the movie.
Right. Well, that was the one that they caught hell for slimming her down. But even
this is bullshit. They shouldn't have.
Well, that just looks stupid. It just you looked at that.
Oh, yeah, it was stupid that they bothered airbrushing her out. Yeah.
Well, not
that they got caught doing it.
Well, it looks stupid because it's not like a Jonah Hill 21 Jump Street kind of thing where he went and he lost. You look at the poster like, why does Jonah Hill look so skinny? Because he went and lost all that weight, so he looks like that in the movie. Melissa McCarthy, you're like, oh, did she lose a lot? I mean, you look at the poster like, oh shit, she went and she lost some weight, and then you see the trailer for the Heat, and like, no, apparently she didn't. Well, then what the hell was the point of that? I mean, it's not even like that was stupid. But even Bridesmaids, like, okay, we've got our characters right here, and like, oh, we're ready to raise some hell, and that's it. I guess technically with something like that, that's all you really need to know. When you try that same formula with a, I guess, more obscure movie.
I want to see a serial killer movie where it's just the serial killer and all the people he's killed in the movie. They're just all like lined up, like,
hey. Well, the closest you're going to get to that is that movie Rubber about the killer tire.
Oh my gosh, I saw that on Netflix. I was very interested until I was not interested any longer.
So you watched it as much?
Yeah. Okay. Well, when it started becoming like very like meta, like it's about people that are filming.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I was just like, sorry, spoiler alert.
No, that's a short film that got stretched into feature length. Like that should have been 30 minutes.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen like the original if it was. I think because it wasn't based on a short film.
It might have been either way. It's like the short. That was. I
would have loved to have seen that.
Yeah, that's a short film concept that you did not need to stretch. But no, then you get something like for some reason there's a movie with Steve Zahn and William H. Macy called Happy Texas.
Population something.
No, because there was a drama that I think was Happy Texas Population, because it had population such and such number in it. That was like sort of a stuck in a small town rut kind of movie. And then
it's not that movie.
No, it's like it's either if it's not Happy Texas, it's like Sunshine Texas or hold on,
some other bullshit town in Texas.
Where the name of the movie is the town that the.
And I say bullshit town in Texas, being a Texas resident, so.
Yes, exactly.
I'm allowed to say that, I think.
Okay, Happy Texas is the one I'm thinking of, and I know what you're talking about because the moment you said population such and such.
Maybe it was just a matter of the movie was called Happy Texas, but the cover box had that stupid population.
Oh no, the one you're talking about That's in the title. I know which one because it's like it has the city name and like I think they superimpose like the kids like sitting underneath the youth that's there in the town.
Kids.
I remember those kids, those wacky kids. But Happy Texas, the poster is just like William. I guess it prides itself on the fact that it. I guess it's about outlaws because the cover I'm looking at has Steve Zahn and his partner just sort of like I guess as they got as it's that.
I remember that.
Yeah, and it makes the point that you could tell the trailer was really proud of itself that it got Fargo's own William H. Macy as the mustache wearing hat wearing sheriff of Happy Texas, and doesn't really tell you shit except it's a yellow background and they're making wacky faces. Let's go ahead and rent it because
I'm thinking of Dancer, Texas.
Thank you, Dancer. Okay, yeah. Population something.
Population 81.
81. Okay, Dancer. I thought it was oddly.
I'm not going crazy.
No, I could tell you're not going crazy because if you were, then somehow we've had some meta experience where I dreamed up the same exact movie.
With Breckin Meyer.
That's right.
Breckin Meyer.
Ethan Embry or Ethan Randall's in that too.
Peter Facinelli.
Oh yeah. Twilight.
Girls, you know him from Twilight.
I don't know how. Why do you know that? I know why I know that, but why do you know that?
Okay, I saw the first Twilight it was on HBO. They gave us like a free preview weekend of HBO, and like they just ran the shit out of Twilight like over and over again.
What he means is he was there opening day with his shirt and book in hand, thinking he might.
I did, however, get talked into going to see this one was the second one, New Moon.
Yeah.
We saw that at the Dollar Theater. Like we were drunk and we were like, "What do you want to do?" I was like, "I don't know. You want to go to a movie?
Let's fall asleep. Let's go see New Moon."
So we saw New Moon at the Dollar Theater, drunk off our asses, and it was mockably entertaining, I suppose. But I've not seen anything past that. I know there's like 3 more movies.
Yes.
2 more books, and the last one's like 2 movies, right?
Here's where I incriminate myself. It's Twilight, New Moon, Eclipse, and then Breaking Dawn Part 1 and 2.
Oh, Brandon, I'm gonna go now.
And I've watched every single one.
See you later.
I've watched. Really?
You had an excuse though to see them, I'm sure.
No, my excuse was I did not leave the house. I did not pay money for them. I've never paid dime one or left my front door to see either one of those movies or either 4 of those movies.
But earlier we were talking about how it's all Divergent. But I need to stop going to movies with this girl because every time her boyfriend's out of town, or every time she wants to go see a movie that she can't talk her boyfriend into going to see,
you get dressed.
I get a phone call. She took me to go see that Mortal Instruments City of Bones.
Yeah,
What's it, City of Bones?
City of Bones, Mortal Instruments.
Yeah. Saw that one. Then we saw Divergent. I get to go see all these movies.
Did you watch Heavenly Creatures?
I can luckily say I dodged that bullet. But you know what's sad is that I recognized people in that movie as far as like actors and actresses.
Jeremy Irons is in that?
That was the movie I would have gladly gone to see. Like, yeah, there's some name recognition in that movie. I would go see that movie. Although, Divergent has Ashley Judd in it.
That had Kate Winslet.
Oh yeah. Kate Winslet's the main antagonist.
Okay,
but I'm saying like
Ashley
Judd's in the movie. Had you told me she was in it, I would have been there opening day. Like,
oh, that's right. I forgot. I didn't.
She wasn't. That's my big problem with the movie is that she wasn't in every scene.
It should be Ashley Judd's Divergent.
Seriously.
This movie is Divergent of Ashley Judd.
That's the problem with the movie. That's my biggest problem is that the other 2 hours of the movie don't feature Ashley Judd.
So if she'd been in the background or been prominent in every scene, then it could have been 4 hours.
It could have been like a Where's Waldo thing where it's just Ashley Judd. Like
she's back behind that fire extinguisher.
no, she just looks like Ashley Judd. They're good. They're good.
That's fun. Maybe the director's cut will allow for a bit of that, or you'll go in there and superimpose her into like the background of everything.
Because the last movie I saw her in was that. Remember how there were like the 2 White House movies that came out like back to back?
Yeah, was she in Olympus or was she in? She was in Olympus as Fallen.
Yeah, and she like dies in like the first 10 minutes, and I was like, "Why are you on the fucking movie poster? Your name's on the movie poster."
Well, the reason her name's on the movie poster is
because she sells movies these days?
No, I was about to get to the exact opposite. The reason her name's on the poster is because that's somebody's desperate attempt to. They know they got her for like a book of food stamps and a charged up. Oh no! Come on. Her career, if we're being honest, she does not fetch top dollar anymore and hasn't for quite a while.
The notion of getting her for a book of food stamps. When there aren't even books of food stamps anymore anyway, it's a debit card.
A charged up Lone Star card. No, but you could actually see, and this is a movie I kind of enjoyed, but it's actually a pretty good example of when her career was actually dead. was Someone Like You. No.
The one with Hugh Jackman?
Yeah. And it's just like, wow.
That movie's horrible.
And I have it, but I have it because
I have seen movies solely because she's in the movie. Movies I would not have otherwise seen. I had no place watching as a grown man by himself.
Well, the problem is Ashley Judd is an adequate enough actress.
She's a really good actress.
Well, I say she's earned the title of adequate to me because a wealth of the movies she's been in have made no, and it's almost like it's sort of retarded her acting ability because she's so all you ever do are these movies that not only don't challenge you, but they actually kind of dumb you down. And so it's like
maybe that's why I like her.
Okay, she's a nice.
She doesn't challenge me.
She goes down easy.
Oh wow!
I need some sound effect, a zing or just some kind of. No, but I look at anybody as someone I give a chance to when they come new onto the scene. I don't care if you're a hot young actress or you're because I had my years. I'm done as far as I can as far as I can help it with sort of being dismissive of new talent. Because I did that with Brad Pitt back in the Legends of the Fall days, and River Runs Through It. I just sort of like whatever. All you are is just like this guy they bring in to look all like studly and get the girls going, and just sort of dismiss them as far as like what they can do acting wise. And then I have to sort of
then you find yourself years later backtracking through.
Well, I have to eat my words when I go and watch like 12 Monkeys, and Brad Pitt just comes on the scene and just dominates and is awesome.
I just realized he's in 12 Monkeys and 12 Years a Slave. And I'm not trying to be
12 Years a Monkey.
Whoa. No, I did not was not going to say that.
You set that out there. You set me up. I got set up, folks. I got set up, and
I was just going to say, like, he does a lot of movies with numbers in them. Ocean's 11.
Yeah.
Ocean's 12.
Entrapment. I got roped into
He wasn't in Entrapment, sir.
I got roped into that. I'm going to stop before this goes dark. But no, and so anytime somebody comes out, he's very happy. He set me up, and I walked right into it.
You did.
I would be more pissed, but
you can edit it out.
I would be more pissed, but I'm totally going to use that on somebody else if at all possible. No, but Ashley Judd comes out around like the Time to Kill days, and
the days where it was okay to kill people.
Yeah, well, and I'm like, all right, one of two things is going to happen with this girl because of she was kind of her career. When you think about it, if you're being fair, was kind of screwed from the beginning because she came onto the scene as the cupid little attractive one of the Judds.
I think we talked about the Judds the last time.
Yeah, and that's where I first started. Like Barbara Walters or Diane Sawyer or something was interviewing Winona and the other one and Naomi, and it's like, wait, who the hell is that? Sitting there, like, this is my sister.
I can't remember what we talked about on the last time we did this, or what we talked about after we did this.
This was the post show. No, but she basically was like, who's that girl? And suddenly she launched that into a movie career, which is fine.
But then again, same could be said with Matthew McConaughey. He was in the same exact movie. And his two people who were both new and on the scene, their career trajectories just like
their career. Okay, but see, that's the thing.
But it's weird. Trajectories took different, but they did the exact same thing. They both did shitty romantic comedies.
Oh, I see.
Nothing that they challenged them.
I dare say that Matthew McConaughey was worse because Ashley Judd did her shitty movies and then just sort of fizzled out, whereas Matthew McConaughey
he stuck with it,
kept going, and has been part. I'm going to say this as somebody who is now who was a fan back then and glad that I didn't dismiss him and throw him out with the bathwater, because he's done and been part of some of the worst romantic comedies I have ever seen, even within the genre. Some of the worst, just god awful, horrible movies that I would give a speech on how bad these are, and he was he was the romantic.
What I'm saying is that we've given Matthew McConaughey a chance to redeem himself. Why can't we give Ashley Judd?
We absolutely can give Ashley Judd a chance. problem is, we need to see Ashley Judd actually do a Dallas Buyers Club or do something like, oh shit, we forgot how fucking good Ashley Judd is.
I'm waiting for her Dallas Buyers Club.
I would not mind it to, oddly enough, the last thing I saw her in that she was like, oh wow, you were actually pretty good was, if I'm not mistaken, she was the young version of one of the old biddies in Yaya Sisterhood.
She was.
And
that's the only reason I watched that movie. And she wasn't in it.
That's actually a decent movie. For being a movie called the Divine Secrets of the
Traveling Pants or something like that.
Traveling Yaya. For having a really lame ass name, it was a decent, estrogen flick.
Estrogen flick.
Well, yeah, that movie where it's like this would be on Lifetime if it weren't as good as. I mean, it's like it's an evolved Lifetime movie where we're sitting around.
I can't even hear the word estrogen lately without even all these vaginal cream commercials that have been on TV. Like, do you watch a lot of live TV?
Thankfully, I don't have TV.
I don't watch a lot of it. Sometimes I come home from work and I just turn the TV on as background noise.
Lots of vaginal.
And it seems like every commercial break there is a commercial for postmenopausal women who are having difficulty or discomfort during intercourse.
Okay.
Because of their estrogen levels.
Okay.
And intercourse shouldn't be discomforting. And here's a cream.
Oh, so it's vag cream for old people.
And it's not just one brand. There are 2 or 3 out there right now.
They're hitting it hard and heavy with the commercial. I haven't had television in a couple of years now, so these commercials.
I just have an over-the-air antenna, but yeah, it's ridiculous because you've turned it on as background noise. You're not really even listening to it, but then it's the echelon system that tunes into certain words you're saying over the phone. It's you're you're scrolling through your phone, the TV's on, and you hear the word vagina or sexual intercourse, and you're like, what? And there's these 60-year-old women on screen bitching about how intercourse is discomforting for them, and I'm like, shh. Oh.
Well, you feel sort of manipulated because you're sitting there intercourse, vagina. Hey, look up and expect to see an episode of The Golden Girls happening.
It's true.
Did they air these along with those Jamie Lee Curtis commercials?
I have not seen. She has not been on those Activia commercials lately. It's been other people. I saw Shakira at a Activia commercial.
No.
I saw Reba McEntire in a Activia commercial the other day.
Help you having trouble pooping, and then eat some Activia, which I forgot what show it was. You mean that yogurt that helps old ladies poop, or that helps ladies poop?
They seem to be lately gearing towards people whose stomachs they could bear to see, because what they're doing is they're drawing smiley faces on their stomach.
Okay.
A happy stomach is a healthy stomach, or something like that. And I guess no one wanted to see Jamie Lee Curtis's stomach.
Interesting.
That's just assumption. I did read Hollywood some deadline report. Jamie Lee Curtis dropped from Activia commercials because of her horribly hairy stomach or something like that. No, nothing like that.
No, but that's one of the reasons I'm kind of glad I don't have TV anymore, because those kinds of commercials, they're played so much that sometimes you lose your ability to laugh at them because they're played all the time. I know for me, one of the last times I had TV, they were still doing the I can't remember the name of the product. It's a herpes medication. Take charge. It's the take charge.
Wait, there's a jingle for a herpes commercial?
Well, jingle in so much it'd be some music. Take charge, and that'd pretty much it'd be talking about I have herpes or whatever and
keep in mind, anyone's going to sample this, they could take out little.
I have herpes. I have herpes. There you go. Take that and
that's going to be my ringtone.
I welcome anyone to make something out of that.
Every time you text message me, it's going to say, I have herpes. Oh shit! Now I said it.
Exactly.
God damn it.
No, but the commercial, I don't know if you remember it, where it's basically people bemoaning the fact that not that they have herpes, but that I guess the previous herpes medication was 5 pills a day, every day. Who has time for that? Well, apparently you had time to go out and get herpes. And so I guess Activia, if you want to say Activia, but it's whatever the program. It's 1 pill a day. For my after.
You say Activia?
That's what keeps popping into my mind. It's Prilosec or some sort of, you know.
Herpes yogurt.
Yeah, exactly.
No one will see your upbringing, you just smear it on.
Exactly.
Gross.
That's
Bacteria.
Oh, come on, you can't tell me if somebody were able to scientifically prove that activity cured herpes that there wouldn't be slews of people lathering that in their nether regions.
I'm sure there would be. I wouldn't have to be one of them, though.
Well, no, I'm fine with my herpes. Exactly.
I've taken ownership of my
herpes. Yes, my herpes are me.
Time management skills are not other people's problems; they're mine.
Well, yeah, but this commercial just people riding by, basically just now I can live a natural life.
I remember.
Yeah, because I couldn't, you know. What is it? Hold on,
probably like Valtrex or something like that.
Thank you, Valtrex. That's it. Okay,
that's what I use.
That's exactly. I could have just gone to my bathroom, my medicine cabinet. And, no, but it's just those. I guess for me the presumption that like, you know, that there's a motherfucker out there like, you know, man, you know, I have herpes and the only way I can have anything sort of kept at bay is to have all these pills. I don't want to take. Well, then just stick with your fucking herpes then if it's that big of a deal. But it's like,
well, because they couldn't be bothered to put a condom on, so what makes you think they're going to be taking 5 pills a day?
Yeah, to me I guess that's a whole.
It was marketing to the people that were too lazy to take care of their shit beforehand.
And I guess that's where if I'm prejudiced against anything, it's against laziness, especially when it gets to such a level that. Like, I know you'll probably argue this. I'm kind of slightly perturbed when I go to the grocery store and they have pre-assembled or pre-made sloppy Joe mix.
That does seem like a new low.
It's like
I get like I appreciate like when they've made sushi for me and things like that, and like things that I probably could have done well if I had my own house.
Right.
But
who's got time to brown hamburger meat and then pour in a cup of sauce? And is it worth the extra? It's like, I don't know. I start thinking to myself, is this not a level that becomes kind of dangerous? Because I know they have the macaroni and cheese cups that you know, but at least then you have to pour water into that.
Yeah, you know, this is like
those Dinty Moore, like, you know, hearty meal, the things that you microwave, and it's, I guess basically once you have your prepackaged meat that's not refrigerated, it's just.
That's so off-putting to me. Like when I walk down the aisle and I see what the convenience of it. If I'm, you know, I need something for work or something like that, to have that, and I don't have access to a fridge or something like that. But
and to be true,
I can't wrap my head around the idea that meat's just sitting on the shelf and it's not being refrigerated, and it's weird.
And I've had one of them. I forget what it was, and it wasn't bad, but it was more of a noodle dish. It wasn't just. I'm thinking
like beef stroganoff kind of thing or something.
Actually, it was like, I want to say it was chicken something, but it was more like penne pasta noodles and, you know, whatever it was. So it wasn't just hamburger meat and sauce like manwich is. It's like, it's not like, hey, there's some noodles in here to maybe at least soak up and preserve the meat.
I don't know how cooking food works, Brandon. I don't cook. As a single man, it's very hard to cook for yourself. I need 3 of my 8 meals a day are eaten out.
Okay, my point being, have you gotten to the point where you sloppy to
I've never bought pre-assembled sloppy Joe mix.
And I never will, because on general principle, although part of the morbid curiosity and we want to try it out just to see, but I don't know, I just start thinking at a certain point, I get, you know, lasagna, I get these things that take sort of prep work, you know, dishes and things that, enchiladas, you have to roll something, but fucking manwich, you brown hamburger meat, and the most strenuous thing you have to do, and this is if you want to, is drain the hamburger meat. After that,
wait, this is if you want to?
I'm saying that you could theoretically. I don't know. I don't know. But maybe you buy that lean meat or something that doesn't. You know,
there you go.
But point being, that's the only other extra step that you might encounter to making this, and you're too fucking lazy to do that.
I think a lot of that market panders to people that don't manage their time very well.
Must be.
People that are in a hurry. That's what I tell myself anyway. I like to believe it's just like moms and dads who have just worked all day and they don't have time to go home and put a decent, you know, home-cooked meal on the table for their kids. Like, I'm going to pick this up on the way home. And
I guess I'm thinking to myself, isn't that what frozen dinners are for? When if you've taken to the point where you're too fucking busy for the steps that it takes to make manwich. I'm like, I guess I don't and I don't know how well that sells. Admittedly, I don't know how well that's gone over. It might be one of those things where it's somebody's idea that just didn't really work. I haven't seen it. Admittedly, I haven't seen it the last couple of times. I haven't really been looking for it.
I can't knock this sandwich. I like the mashed potato bowl from KFC. So
thank you. I do too. But I don't look at that honestly. I don't. A lot of people are like this. That's the. You know,
I can't be bothered to have.
That's a sign of the apocalypse. Is that famous bowling? No, it's not even that I can't be bothered to have. It's delicious.
It's delicious.
It's a delicious.
It's delicious side of the apocalypse.
Yum.
It's all in one bowl. It's easy to.
Well, my stance with that when I go to hear comedians talking about how gross that shit. And I know people that think that's gross and disgusting. My thought is, well, first of all, you're not getting. It's not that that you're too lazy to eat a full meal deal or a plate, and it's not putting in a thigh or a fucking drumstick. It's chicken tender. I mean, it's and chicken chunks. Admittedly, I don't see at that point. It's a bowl of mashed potatoes with chicken pieces and corn. How if that's gross?
Delicious gravy.
And delicious gravy. How is that any different than a fucking pot pie? That's essentially the same damn thing.
Pot pies take like forever to cook, though.
I'm talking about the way that if it's gross to eat this compressed.
Well, I have a lot of people that tell me that pot pies are gross, and I'm like, get out of my house.
Shut your mouth. Shut your poor mouth with your pot pie talk. Your anti-pot pie.
Like, pack your stuff and leave. We can't be together anymore.
Sir, I'm a pizza guy. Get the fuck out of my house. You go back and tell Papa John I don't need his business anymore. No, but certain pot pies are kind of gross, but you're not homemade, but like you go to Boston Market or you get one of those like there's like Morton's banquet pot pies, the 89-cent pot pies.
I bought Marie Callender's one the other day.
Those are alright.
And I flipped it over on the back. I was like, I'm gonna actually eat this. It's been in my freezer for like a month.
I'm gonna actually eat this.
Flipped it over. It said preheat oven to whatever, like 400 degrees. Cook or put the foil on the edge, and then cook for 62 to 65 minutes.
Nope.
If I had that kind of, if I thought I had that well, I would be making meals to begin with.
They were the microwave option, right?
Yeah, but it wasn't a microwave a pot pie. It tastes like crap.
But you sort of Sophie's Choice. What do? Do you wait the hour?
I waited the hour.
Did you? Okay.
I got the best damn pot pie I could ever get.
I ordered pizza in there.
I was no longer hungry because I'd eaten like half a bag of chips and some strawberries and yogurt. And I was like, well, I'm not really hungry, but the pot pie is ready. Let's see if I can eat this.
It's an obligatory pot pie eating. Yeah. No, I agree. There's certain things, but see, I hate the fact that it can make such a difference sometimes, and I feel like I'm sort of being screwed because if it's an hour for something like that, I get if it's a family-sized lasagna or but just a pot pie. A pot pie is going to take 60 minutes in the oven. Really? Seriously.
But see, you also get the benefit of like occasionally like cooking for two. Like I hate going through the production of cooking, even if it is not going to take that long. Going through the whole production of cooking something, and then it just being for me.
Well, no, I don't care. For me anyway, it doesn't matter if it's two or one. It comes down to if I'm the one cooking, and how fucking hungry I am whenever I come home, whenever I'm about to do the cooking. Sadly, that dictates sometimes the choices that I make. Is how fucking hungry I am and how I wouldn't wait most of the time. I would not wait for the 60 minutes for like in your pot pie situation. I would just make it in the microwave, unless the other day I went to Tom Thumb and I got this orange chicken, this frozen orange chicken.
Oh man!
It was on sale.
I'm hungry now.
It was on sale, so I took a chance. And I think because nothing else was. I was maxed out on pizza and just nothing. I went to the store shopping hungry.
It's a nice. What do you call that?
Segue.
It's a nice insight as to why Americans are just generally like out of shape. Like I eat out all the time. If I can just pick out from the store or just fast food.
I don't eat out that much because.
How many meals do you think in a week's time you prepare at home? Not counting bowls of cereal for breakfast, like actual things
like dinner,
you prepare.
like dinners.
Well, just lunch or dinner, like things you actually.
Well, most of the time I'm at work during lunch, so the only meal I really ever eat here is dinner.
Okay, so then out of the 5 dinners in a work week, how many do you actually make here?
Out of 5, at least 4.
Wow.
Now, mind you, hold on. I don't want the kind of credit that wow would get me because
I'm impressed.
No, don't be. In fact, I am a very lazy man when it comes to this, and at least one of those dinners tends to be breakfast stuff.
I would eat breakfast 3 meals a day if.
Well, I'm not talking about like cereal. I mean like scrambled eggs, bacon,
I got it.
Toast and things like that. So that's an easy meal, and because I don't have scrambled eggs, the easiest egg to make, and that I'm not.
And yet I still fuck it up.
Do you? Okay.
It's depending on like the. Sometimes I use the wrong skillet, and like I have an old skillet that doesn't. I always forget to spray it.
Okay, all right.
It sticks up, and then like I spray the pan down my throat.
I figured the eggs would be down there at some point.
I bought my niece a rollie for Christmas. Have you seen that commercial?
No.
It's basically, it makes like eggs on a stick.
Really?
You crack an egg into the thing, and you put the stick in, and you just watch it for like over like 8 minutes, and the stick will like rise up, and it's what comes out is just like a giant egg on a stick.
What kind of like an egg made like a hard boiled? No, not hard boiled. Like
No, it's kind of like a scrambled
Really?
egg on a stick. I bought her one for Christmas.
Is it any good? Have you tried it?
I haven't had one. I gave it to her, and she lives elsewhere, so
She liked it, or she's like it.
she swears it's like the best thing ever, and I was like, I'm almost want to buy another one for you, but I already have enough like things I have. Like I buy like these kitchen gadgets, thinking I'm like, I'm gonna buy this rice maker. I'm gonna make me some rice. Make me some rice. And then I use it like the day I bring it home.
It's a foot prop. You're sitting there. It's a footstool. No, I mean I don't make food most. I mean in the sense of the breakfast stuff. That's easy. I hamburger helper.
I made that last night. I actually made that.
Okay.
My problem with making that is, and it says it right on the box. It says after you've made it, refrigerate leftovers. And I'm like, what fucking leftovers are you talking about? Like,
well, you left it out, or you just ate it all?
I just fucking ate it all. I feel like such a pig.
No, you shouldn't, because honestly,
it's not a box for one person. It's a box clearly for multiple people. And I'm like, I put it in a bowl like a little bit, and I'm like, oh, that was good. I'm gonna do it a little bit more. And then it's like, I should probably stop. It's fucking crack in a box. It's crack in a box, is what it is.
What flavor did you get?
Last night I had crunchy taco.
That one's actually not okay.
That's the one that has little corn chips.
Yeah, that and I'm not saying this just to make you feel better. That one,
I'll take anything at this point. Make me feel better.
That one's actually easier to eat all of because the noodles that come in it, like it's not as.
It's not the noodles. It was rice.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is that one I could plow through a box of that myself because it doesn't give you that much. We eat them in bowls, and so like the bowl's not even overflowing. And I'll go and I'll eat. It's supposed to be like it's about 3 helpings, 3 bowls.
Yeah.
Because pour 1, pour 2.
It's just the idea that I know that like the commercials marketed towards like it's a quick and easy meal to make for your family, and I'm like I'm not a family. Your cats are eating this with me. It's just
okay. But see, right there, I take issue with that. That's another marketing thing. I'm going to label this episode marketing. That's a marketing thing because have you ever looked on an average box of anything and seen what the fuck the actual suggested serving size is? And then I don't.
But that's just it. Is that we think that's bullshit. Like, there's no way that's a serving.
No, but
because we're used to eating like gobs and gobs of food.
No, but even having said that though, if you look at like a box of mini tacos, like the Don Jose or John.
Like 4 is like a serving or something like that.
That's bullshit because well, one, it's serving because I guess technically at that point that's finger food, so you're not supposed to eat that.
Yeah, that's not supposed to be a meal.
But there's been other things where it's like
like the 20 ounce Coke I just had has 1.5 servings in it.
1.5 that's what I'm saying. There's something wrong with the serving.
Is there something wrong with the serving?
Yes.
Does a definition, or is there something wrong with what we believe to be? We are programmed from such a small age that we need to finish our plate. You need to clean your plate before you leave the dinner table. You don't go anywhere until you finish what's on your plate.
Okay.
So if I'm presented with a 20 ounce bottle of Coke, I'm programmed to believe that I need to. This is mine. This is what I need to drink. But in actuality, there's more than just one serving in that 20 ounce bottle.
Okay, fair enough. Oh shit.
And there's like 5 or 6 servings in a thing.
Okay, hamburger. Sorry, I'm pulling out a box of Hamburger Helper. This box says servings per container 5.
5. There you go.
Now hold on. That's 5.
I ate them all.
Okay. Showed no favorites. Okay, but the serving size. Hold on a second. It says.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. The serving size is small. It's compared to what we believe we should be eating.
No, but wait. Okay, I get what you're saying, but this doesn't make any serving size. 1/4 cup as packaged, and underneath it says 1 cup prepared. So I'm assuming
Right, because it's all dry ingredients. It becomes more after you prepare.
Why the fuck would you have a serving size packaged? Is what I'm saying.
That's probably just an FDA thing. Like
Okay.
they have to give what it looks like beforehand and what it looks like afterwards. And I know what a cup looks like.
Okay, it says
A cup of that's what I'm supposed to be eating.
Now, mind you, did you just eat nothing but this?
I ate nothing but that.
Okay, no, I'm asking because I think
I guess in
theoretically.
the commercials, this is like a part of your dinner. Like this is on your
Yes,
plate,
you
and there's like a side of something else.
Right, exactly.
But they also market it like it's an all-in-one meal. Like it's
Well, that's again.
here's a complete meal.
The
for you.
marketing is setting up to fuck you and make you feel like a fat monster. And that's,
No, it's the fact that I eat a lot of food that I shouldn't eat that makes me feel like a fat monster.
See, you're taking on the blame. I'm pointing the blame at where it starts, which is the marketing. It sets you up for failure.
I just think that if I actually adhered to what the serving size was on things, I'd probably be a lot less happy. But
Okay.
but I'd be a lot less fat as well.
Well, all right.
I'm not fat. I need to work out, right? Now making excuses.
Well, no.
There will never be pictures associated with this podcast, right?
No. If they were,
I am ripped. I am like I'm an Adonis.
He is Vin Diesel.
No. Am I?
Well, as far as body, like
Yeah.
like Vin Diesel.
Okay, fine. I guess.
Like I don't know, because don't you want like you're ripped, or what do you want more like?
I'd rather just be skinny and ripped.
Brad Pitt Fight Club kind of.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where you look like barbecue chicken.
I don't want to look like people expect me to do stuff. Like if shit's going down, I don't want people to be like, you need to handle this, Rob. Like, no, I'm good, thanks.
Okay.
I still want to be a pacifist. I don't want to be the guy that like.
You don't want to be a club bouncer.
No, not really.
Well, point being, is that if anything's wrong, it's not so much the quantity you're eating. It might technically be the way you're eating. Meaning, like if you make a meal out of hamburger,
the funnel that I'm putting in. I'm putting in one of those pastry things that I'm squeezing the top.
You're laying there and you got a conveyor belt. Like an assembly line just going into your mouth. Where's it coming from? Don't know. Don't care.
Lucy Apple on the other side. It's like dropping crunchy taco.
Well, that's the problem. I mean, when you think about it, there's probably something inherently bad about just even no matter how if you eat the whole if you eat the whole thing or not, you're making a dinner out of just meat and noodles and
cheese
and delicious cheese. You put sour cream on like the crunchy one because we fucking get some sour cream.
I did not get it.
Oh man, that's the only thing that makes it. If you're gonna go decadent, then just
every time I grab a couple boxes of Hamburger Helper off the shelf, I'm like, I better grab some Chicken Helper, like so I don't feel like a slob. So I grabbed a couple boxes of Chicken Helper. So like next time I make that, it's gonna be like Chicken Helper.
I used to eat the Tuna Helper, like that one.
I don't like warm tuna.
I've got nothing to say, even if I wanted to be.
What's funny is that I just had this conversation with someone else the other day, who, she didn't like sushi, even though she never had sushi before. She's like, I like my fish cooked, and I'm like, but you eat tuna. Tuna's cold,
right?
Like if you could stand the reason that as long as you're not eating the bones of a fish, you could probably eat most any fish raw.
Right. Well, you're right, and so.
But as a congruent off that train of thought there, like because tuna has predominantly been marketed to me as something you eat cold.
Right.
It's hard for me to wrap my head around.
Oh, sure.
The idea of eating warm tuna.
But like,
every time I see the phrase warm tuna, I want to.
Your voice drops down an octave. Warm tuna.
Warm.
It's like
tuna.
Yeah, when I go to the store, I don't want to buy warm tuna. Wait, what? You say it in a library voice. Well, what about like Long John Silver's fried fish or something? Like, is it just tuna that you've been conditioned? I mean, that you're thinking.
I like prepared fish.
Okay.
I just don't like warm tuna.
Warm tuna.
Stop.
That's what this episode's going to be titled. Is warm.
It's called marketing. Now it's called warm.
Well, that's going to be marketing. Apostrophe. What's the? Oh shit, my grammar.
Parentheses.
Warm tuna. No, I hear you. I don't like sushi. I don't like the taste.
But she didn't like it, and she never had it.
Well,
just out of principle that
I'd never had it before, and then whenever I went, I took one bite, and I knew instantly I did not like it. But I take ownership of my closed-mindedness in that my palate is really dependent upon the way I take to textures, and the texture mixed with the taste of tuna, not tuna, of sushi. Just no, it's not happening. It's not.
Especially I think when you've been presented with how something should feel and taste on your tongue, and then you warm it up, and suddenly it tastes different. This is a warm tuna. That's what threw me off of it. It was
fair enough. I don't.
It also tastes like something completely different. Honestly.
I don't love tuna helper. I grew up having it as a sort of. We didn't have chicken helper for some reason. It was either like hamburger helper or tuna helper.
I kind of feel like chicken helper is like a newer kid on the scene.
It feels like it. I mean, all my life I've been eating hamburger and tuna helper. I would think that if it has to be somewhat new, because I don't believe that my father, who was a staunch helperhead, would have bypassed the chicken helper.
Part of the helper army.
Yeah, he housed hamburger and tuna. I don't see him shrugging chicken. So I'm thinking chicken helper's been somewhat new. I don't know if you remember growing up, we'd have those bags that you put the chicken.
Is this where they had Batman cereal helper as well?
Batman helper. That's Robin. Okay.
Okay. Do I know we had bags helper. Of what?
Like the basically instead of chicken helper, it was just you could get you got a bag of chicken, and it was like not a sauce, but basically you put the bag the chicken pieces in the bag, and then you put basically water and then the powdered mix in there, and then you had the little cinched thing at the end, and you cook it in the oven. And
just like that?
Yeah, you could get different flavors and stuff. You could still you go to the Walmart and where they have the package mix it gravy mix the cheap shit. It's probably going to be over there. I haven't seen it in a while. I haven't eaten it in years and years and years. I just remember it growing up. It's what we would do with chicken, and I have to believe if there had been chicken helper, we would have at least to vary it up gone with hey, try this chicken helper. I don't know how is it.
We've gone on about chicken helper.
He's just mad we're not talking about warm tuna.
Seriously, can we bring it back to the warm tuna and Ashley Judd and
Ashley Judd's warm tuna
and Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey and Ashley Judd in warm tuna. I would watch that sight unseen. If you told me there was a movie called Warm Tuna starring Matthew McConaughey and Ashley Judd, I'd go.
Remember that thing that play that would come to town every couple of years?
Greater Tuna
and a tuna.
A Tuna Christmas, Red, White, and Tuna, the Tuna series, huh?
One of them came to I don't know what grade I was in. It feels like one of them came to the school once.
Really, they might have.
But I never saw any of them other than that.
I wanted to. I just always would miss them. And every year that I think about it and I actually budget for it, they're not coming that year. And I just...
Are they even still alive?
Yeah.
It feels like they were old when I was in school.
Well, no, because the
Is it the same actors or different actors?
Depends. It's sort of for the most part when they tour, it's the original two guys. They had a couple of tours where it was two other guys. It was two other guys that they had doing it. I guess they were commissioned. I would
see Ashley Judd and Matthew McConaughey dressed in
drag and very.
It would really be drag.
That'd actually be pretty badass.
Ashley Judd.
Because with where Matthew McConaughey is at in his acting career these days, I would pay top dollar to watch that. That'd probably be pretty.
It'd be Book of Mormon seats right there. That'd be
man.
$300 tickets.
Yeah, I would pay it. I would pay it and do whatever I could to go. That'd actually be probably a train wreck, but pretty badass. Now when you start on Book of Mormon, I'm pissed that doesn't ever come through Dallas because
it came through a couple years ago, didn't it?
I haven't.
Because I feel like when I googled it to see if it was coming, I kept finding articles from back in 2012 where it had come.
Well, then they didn't. Yeah, I don't recall.
Because I think the tickets were already sold out. They didn't have to market it because the tickets were sold out before they even came to town.
Might have been, and it could have been if it's 2012.
I want to Google it again, but I feel like most of the hits were from February 2012. I doubt they had to do any marketing for it because it was probably already sold out before it even got here.
Freaking sucks though, because it took me forever to get to see Wicked.
Still haven't seen that.
I love that one, but that came back through a couple of years ago. But since I'd already seen it, I wasn't.
Here we go. I guess it's coming back through February 10th through the 22nd of next year.
Sweet. Does it say where? I guess it's probably part of the Dallas Summer Music or Dallas Musical.
The Windspear Opera House.
Oh, I gotta try and go see that. As much of a Trey Parker fan as I am, then like, have you heard any of the stuff? I've got.
I listened to about 3 songs off the soundtrack. I listened to the very first one, I guess where like they keep ringing the doorbell, and keep introducing themselves, and I guess giving the door slam in their face. That was a funny song.
Have you heard the one that the tribes people sing when they go over to wherever, I forget whatever country it is they go to, and it's sort of like their mock-up of like Hakuna Matata, but it's pretty much like...
It was, I saw that on, I pulled up on Google Play.
Okay, it's like Hasapin or whatever, but basically like, oh right, it's a jaunty tune, and they're all, and basically translating their language to like fuck God and his ass, and like you basically, we've got AIDS and pestilence and like we're dying out here, but we sing this happy song, and the happy song they sing is pretty much fuck God, and so they got the Mormons singing it, and they're like, oh my God, and one of them starts freaking out because he just sang this like, you know, sacrilegious. It was at that point where I was like, okay, this is Trey Parker. I could hear his humor come through there, but yeah, I really want to see that one.
I kind of wish they would just do like I mean, they have no reason to do it now because it's still making money, but eventually when like it's seen its heyday, I hope that they're like on Netflix. There's like Shrek the Musical. Like there's someone like they filmed productions of the show.
I don't know why they don't do that more often.
Well, while it's still making money.
No. Not while it's still making money. Just in general, like even if you record one and don't put it out, record it. Like,
well, the one that's on there, the one that they finally released, was actually a compilation of a couple different performances.
Okay.
So they probably are filming it, but at the same time, there's no reason to put it out.
Well, not put it right, but like with Wicked.
Have they not?
No, it's
I don't know.
Well, I mean, typically what they'll end up doing is they'll do the recording, the soundtrack of the original Broadway cast, and they did it for Rent. They did one for Phantom of the Opera, and I think Les Mis had a Broadway just recording of it. And my thought is, in a day and age of technology being the way that it is, record the shit for posterity, especially the big ones. If it's Wicked, if it's Rent, record it. You don't have to put it out yet while it's still making money, but basically once you end your original Broadway cast run, even if it's years down the line, you've got for posterity a well-recorded, not bootleg, kind of thing that you can then...
Well, I would imagine that they probably do record it. I mean, like much like the way like football teams record their games just so they can watch the plays again and see what went wrong, what worked.
Right. I mean,
don't they record the shows? I would think they record the shows.
I would think so.
It's been a long time since I've been on Broadway. I don't know.
I see you out there hustling on the streets and like, you know, just, I don't know.
I was in Newsies. Don't question it.
Now the next time I watch that movie, I'm going to be looking for you.
For me. I'll be looking for Ashley Judd.
Ashley Judd turns out has been in every single Hollywood movie of the past like 20 years, and you go back. It's just this sort of like Sixth Sense style like twist epiphany. Holy shit! And you go back, or Usual Suspects, where you realize, oh, you drop your coffee mug because you realize, you drop your coffee mug, like Sister Act, you know, or even like, you know, just everything, anything from stuff that she should be in to like, you know, Method Man and Red Band's How High. You know, she's been in all these.
Gosh,
you know,
How High.
Yeah.
You know what's sad? I put a picture today on Instagram of a sock with a marijuana leaf on it.
Okay.
It's got more likes on it than anything I've ever posted on Instagram.
A sock with the marijuana?
I was at the laundromat and I pulled my clothes out of the washing machine, and out with it came a sock I did not see that was in there. That was not mine. Yeah. It was like still in the machine.
Sure.
And it's a black sock with a marijuana leaf and like some sort of like jewel on it.
There's a jewel on it?
I don't know what they're talking about. We're a baller. I don't know.
Yeah.
They got money and they got weed.
I got socks.
They only had one though. And so like the caption was like, whoever had lost the sock probably got really upset, but then like got really high and forgot. And
did you keep it or did you throw it away?
I just took a picture of it and left it there.
And left it there.
I mean, I washed it by mistake, so it was clean, but I did not put it in the dryer with my clothes.
Okay.
It was wet. And then some grandma came by and picked it up. It's like,
oh, did it?
Here's the thing. It's funny is that when I was there washing the clothes, I had heard her sitting there talking to some other guy that was there about how like she never did drugs, like da 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 da. She she doesn't understand kids today. Blah 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 blah.
Okay.
And then that guy left, and then my clothes went from the washer to the dryer. And that lady's over there by herself. And about 10 minutes in to me drying my clothes, that woman comes by, picks up that sock off the thing. She's like, "Oh, this is mine."
Are you kidding?
I'm like, "That's yours."
You're serious?
I'm serious. She claims that sock was hers. This like 70-year-old grandma lady
So
says.
just got done talking about how she doesn't understand how kids and drugs.
Yeah.
That must have been sarcastic.
I just think she saw a spare sock sitting around. She's like, oh, this is mine. Like, oh, this is mine. This is mine.
Oh, so she might not have even realized what the fuck she was picking up. Just like, okay, damn it! I want to believe that she had just been trolling that guy before. Like,
I don't know. Maybe she was, but
I don't understand kids these days. Like, when the drug, and then she just pulls up this monster bong, like.
She somehow like worked like dryer sheets, like doing it smell like taste really good. I don't know.
Oh, eating dryer sheets?
Yeah, like putting them, like lighting the bong with them or something. Can you do that?
Okay. No.
Can you do that?
I don't know. I know the dryer sheets get used to mask the scent.
That's what you do. Yeah.
With the
it's been a while.
Paper towel roll.
Not since I was on the set of Newsies. I rip a bong.
Okay,
so.
I'm sorry. Newsies the Broadway production or Newsies the movie?
No, the Broadway production.
Damn, because then I can just put you onto then I can picture you on the set of Newsies with a young Christian Bale sparking up a fatty, and damn it, that's how it's going to be in my head because I don't know who was in the original Broadway production. But
that's why I'm in that one because you don't know who was in it.
Exactly.
It's easy for me to say I was in it.
I can't call you a liar because I don't know.
Ripping bongs,
selling newspapers,
sticking
sticking to the man or whatever the man was at that time. See, I'm going with the movie, so it's like Robert Duvall, all pissed off up in his office.
Wait, he was in the movie?
He was like the guy, the newsman. Right? I'm shaking my fist like, oh, you damn newsies!
The angry guy jerking off someone above his shoulder, like
yeah, you damn newsies! I'm jerking off this elephant because you're making me lose my profit. Yeah.
Oh, it's a shame that newspapers aren't sticking around.
It was weird. I was on the bus on the train the other day. And I didn't want to be that guy that's like, oh man, somebody's actually reading a newspaper. But the guy was on the train and he was reading a newspaper, and I thought that same thing. Like, wow, I see them when I go into 7-Eleven, and I know they're still a thing. But
well, here's the thing: it's a lot like when you're running from someone. It's a lot harder
when you're running from someone.
Like when you're running from someone and you to duck yourself onto a bus or a subway or something like that. It's a lot harder to hide behind a Kindle than it is
or if you're
a newspaper.
If you're an overly popular boy band that has hordes of girls chasing you.
Yeah, there we go.
Then it's hard to hide.
So the thing is now that newspapers are so not commonplace, anyone I see with a newspaper, I'm like, you're hiding from someone. What's your deal? Who are you? What are you?
What crooked FBI team is after you?
Exactly. I'm gonna walk by that person and put my hand over the top of their page, be like, oh, sorry, I was looking for someone else.
Well, what's funny is you don't see like the printed news and even magazine periodicals are kind of becoming like Prince albums now, where they keep getting put out. Clearly, people are buying them, but I only ever see them in doctors' offices and really obscure kind of places. But yet, every time I go to the grocery store, there's new issues of whatever, anything from the tabloids to Vogue and Vanity Fair, and I'm just thinking who the fuck is reading this shit, and what do they blast through it so quick and throw it away, or I don't see somebody on a train or a bus reading Mary Claire, or
is that how it's pronounced?
Mary Claire? How do you been pronouncing it?
I haven't been pronouncing it.
I've
seen the name. I always thought it was Marie Claire, but I don't really know because it's not a magazine term.
Well, Marie or Mary. At this point.
Well, Mary would be MARY, right? I'm thinking.
It could be. I suppose. I mean,
it's not like Tony. It was 3 different spellings.
Mary. Marie. I don't know. It's the one, Mrs. Claire.
Now you're assuming she's Mary. She can't just be a fiercely independent woman, fashioned up on her own.
Ms. Claire.
There we go. Assumptions.
Yeah, Mademoiselle and frickin'. Yeah, but the point is, all these magazines, I don't see anybody actually reading them, but they must be being purchased because otherwise, where
my sister subscribes to a couple of them. I'll see them at her house.
Okay.
But yeah, I wouldn't.
Otherwise,
for as much that goes into producing hundreds and thousands of copies of them for mass distribution,
you've seen it one place.
When I worked at the grocery store, there was a vendor that would come in and put the magazines on the racks every month, and then take the old ones. And it seemed like they were taking out as many as they were putting in. I'm like, you're destroying a lot of trees.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is after a certain point, have you ever looked at one of those? I found
it's 2/3 advertisements anyway.
I was going to say there was I was at the airport last time I was going up to Canada. I was at DFW airport, and somebody left a magazine at one of the benches that I was at while I was waiting for my flight to board, and I think it was like Cosmo or one of those kind of magazines, but it had like Lady Gaga on the front of it, and so I'm like, okay. I foolishly had forgotten that the whole advertising ratio that you mentioned, so I picked it up, and I was reminded like, oh shit, this is like literally 25% perfume ads.
Yeah.
And then like this is mainly advertising. There are a few.
It's to the point where there's so much perfume ad in the magazine that you probably can't take it on a plane. You could probably wring the magazine out and be like, no, you got more than 3 ounces of liquid there.
Yeah, that's jacked up. But yeah, it's like, who the fuck like buys this, and what do you get out of it that you can't get out of going to Macy's and walking through the perfume section?
Well, it's the convenience of getting that, but not having to go to Macy's.
I guess, but then you're going to have to go to...
I think those magazines help paint a picture of what it is you're looking for when you walk into those stores.
I suppose, but I'm sitting there thinking like,
it seems like a lot of wasted effort though. Especially there's apps now. I saw someone on
Scratch
YouTube.
and sniff app.
I saw someone on YouTube the other day promoting an app where if you see someone out on the street, I forgot what it was called. Oh, The Hunt.
Okay.
It's called The Hunt.
Okay.
You take a picture of someone wearing something that you like, but you don't know what the fuck it is.
Okay.
You take a picture of it, you post it on this app. The people in the community that use this service will find it for you.
I've heard of
and
that.
point you towards it. Like, hey, you can find it here. It's manufactured by DKNY.
Yeah, okay, I've heard of that. That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, at that point,
Except
you're just crowdsourcing like information on the hottest styles. You don't need magazines like Cosmopolitan.
And it's like SoundHound on my phone now. I mean, I've taken to becoming really spoiled with that. Being out at the mall or being out at a public place, like, shit, what is this song? Like, and raising up my phone. I'm raising up my phone to a speaker that doesn't exist right now. But you know SoundHound, right?
I've heard services like it, yeah.
Yeah, one of those kind of apps, like, that's awesome to me. And so then I'm thinking of like, man, you're reading...
I just listened to like a few of the lyrics and then just Google like a sentence from the song in
I used to. That's exactly the way I used to.
Because you can do that more discreetly than this, like holding your phone over there.
As far as discretion goes, I don't give a shit. I want that tune and I want it now. Because I don't, quite frankly, for
it's
me...
It's your music and I want it now.
For me, if it's something like that, I'll do. I was in Wingstop the other day, and there was like I forgot who. Oh shit! The name's on the tip of my tongue. It was like a pop song, and I knew I'd heard it before. I didn't bother sound-hounding it because I knew the words were prominent enough that Ellie Goulding. It was one of her songs, "Burn," I believe. And so she kept on "Burn," and so I was able to put those words into a Google search. But if I'm in like I was in the Mall of America, and some retro store that I was in had this group called Warpaint. It's these two chicks. It's kind of Tegan and Sarah-esque. But a lot of their sort of ambient kind of atmospheric music didn't have a whole lot of lyrics to it. So I'm like, what the hell is this? And if it's like, feel it coming down, like, okay, if that's all that's in there for 2 minutes of the song, shit, I would just rather have an app that'll pick up whatever the hell the music is and just tell me what it is. And since I like a lot of trance music too, I'll hear something like, shit, there's not going to be any words to this. SoundHound helps quite a bit.
But see, problem I've run into is with like a lot of EDM is that you'll hold the phone to distinguish it and it can't distinguish it.
I've only had that happen one time, and so far in the...
I don't think I was using SoundHound. I was using something similar.
Okay, SoundHound's pretty good.
I kind of gave up with it. I was just like...
It wasn't giving you...
I wondered what the song was, and it wasn't telling me.
Like, no! Or is it, hold on. Just hold on.
So then I would just turn on XM in my car and hope that like I was in... They'll like give you like weeks of like free preview. And when I get the free preview, this lives on like channels 51 and 52.
Okay, yeah.
And then I get to learn some of the names of the songs I've been hearing for like the last few weeks. I'm like, oh yeah, okay.
Well, that's what I'm point being. Whatever technology you use that allows you to be able to get this information. Same thing with newsprint. Newspapers, it's kind of like that's much like the Cosmopolitan. Like, doesn't this seem like sort of a waste of resources? And not so much like snub my nose up at the printed word, but isn't that something that's kind of evolved to where this is unnecessary? Like it's
yeah, I would like to think that at some point we will, as a society, like recognize the benefit of not wasting that kind of resource and production. And, like,
right, it's not because it's not necessary anymore.
Yeah.
You did it then because it was necessary, but it's totally outdated. And
but then I thought I read some sort of like statistic that said that there's still like a large population of like our country that doesn't have internet access.
That's what I was getting at.
So until that's rectified, until like every person in our country or in the world, for that matter, has access to the internet at a suitable speed, until that's rectified, we're not going to get solely rid of the printed word.
Well, I think that'll end up happening. I think phones will end up getting us there, because if nothing else, your phone service, it's going to become harder and harder to have a phone service that doesn't include some sort of internet, or a phone with Wi-Fi capabilities, to the point where you're going to have to try to have outdated technology. Like, I mean, even with the phone that I had a slide phone going into it that I didn't use for much of anything, but Metro PCS having unlimited internet, once you get a phone, this is by no means a top of the line phone, but once you get a phone that can handle internet capabilities and touch, and it becomes the norm, then you're not going to have an excuse, because
But just some people that they can't afford a cell phone.
Sure, well, right, and but it's funny. It's like, you can't afford a cell phone. Are you really going and spending money on newspapers and shit? Like where are your priorities? And
Yeah, sure. I mean, they're not making an effort to stay informed in the first place.
It's sort of the same thing. I think, like, when people, and I feel bad because I don't like to be an asshole when it comes to this, but I stand in line at like a 7-Eleven, and I'll be waiting in line with my damn microwave burrito and my Arizona tea drink, and I have to wait for the shithead, two people in front of me, to finish buying his lottery tickets.
I wish that there was like some sort of like streamlined way where people could just like buy their own damn lottery tickets, like without.
Right? Why do I have to sit here? Can you not? I mean, I guess it's a security thing, but do it. I mean, an app. At some point, will there be an app for that where you're logged in to the Texas State Lottery website and you're basically registered with them? So it's through their.
Because like it would just seem to me like it's pointless to like be worried about like the selling of it to a minor when you're gonna have to prove that they're 18 years old to redeem it anyway.
Right, exactly.
And I guess the thing that irks me about that is like you'll go and there are tickets that you can specifically fill out to get the numbers that you want, but you've got some guy who didn't bother filling out the ticket, and instead of just giving the cashier, the lady behind the counter,
those with quick picks,
just giving her directions about how he wants his tickets. Like, if you wanted your fucking tickets,
that shit, okay.
If you want your tickets that way, you should have filled out the forms and then just hand her the forms and let her just pop them in. And
well, because my dad would send me occasionally to the store to get like some quick picks.
I want 10 quick picks, but I want them all in single tickets by themselves. I'm like,
yeah,
get the hell out! You're never gonna win the lottery.
Well, you're never gonna win the lottery for as much work and detail as you're putting into it.
Seriously, like the odds of you winning in the first place are so minute. Just get your 5 tickets or whatever numbers they give you. It's all random, right?
Go to a damn. Well, that's the thing is go to a damn casino then, and just
play the way you want to play.
Well, no, I'm saying like the lottery, like the way that is a waste of paper, and it's kind of a real weird, outdated. Like it's archaic. It seems strangely archaic. Why are we doing it like this?
It just needs to be revamped to where that way. I also like, so I'm not, as someone who's not buying lottery tickets, wildly inconvenienced by the.
That's another thing.
It's like that's like the number one transaction that seems to happen at the convenience store that takes the longest. I've had people in front of me ask for money orders. Those are relatively quick. I've had people in front of me, prepaying for the gas. That's in and out. Like, the thing that takes the longest amount of time seems to be these damn lottery tickets.
Right, and you would think, why can't you just have a kiosk? They made a kiosk for the damn.
They do actually. I've seen the regular lottery tickets.
Scratchers.
No, I've seen kiosks for just regular lottery tickets.
Okay,
but I don't know who has to foot the bill for that. It seems like not many of the stores have adopted those or adopted those rather.
I've seen the dispensers for the scratch offs.
No, I've seen dispensers. You can buy your tickets from a kiosk now.
Huh.
But it just seems like, why are these not more prevalent?
Right.
If this technology exists.
Yeah, I hate when one of the 2 lanes at 7-Eleven's taken up.
Wait, you go to 7-Eleven where there's 2 people working? That's insane.
Not all the time.
That's why I hate 7-Eleven. I'll go in there, there'll be like 1 person there, and there's like 8 people trying to check out. I'm like, let's go Quick Trip. Quick Trip is the bomb.
No, Quick Trip is.
This episode is brought to you
by Quick Trip. It's the bomb, bitch. No,
and this episode will never be brought to you by Quick Trip now.
No. It's the bomb. Yeah. No, Quick Trip is not the bomb. It's the fine establishment that I would gladly go to were it not for the fact that I don't have one next to my job. So it's like I go to the 7-Eleven just because I don't go to any other 7-Eleven unless it's just right there.
Yeah, there's one on the way to my work that because out of necessity, there's nothing else, I go to it.
Right.
It's always just like hand over, time and time again, it's just always just
one person.
It's a subpar experience every time. I don't understand how, not only like how they still exist, but how they, in this area anyway, how they've resurged. Because like there for a while they were everywhere, and then they all but like almost all disappeared, and now it seems like they're everywhere again. And I'm like, but you don't do it any better than your counterparts.
Well, they are everywhere. I've been going downtown. There's like 3 of them within a couple of blocks.
I love this. I will say I love the 7-Elevens that are like on the bottom floor of like a tall building that don't have gas at all.
Yeah,
those are my favorite 7-Elevens.
Well, there's one down at one of the train stops that you just get off, and it's right there. So obviously there's no gas station. I will say that 7-Eleven does have. They got their $5 pizza, and I mean it's a full size like pizza. It's probably on par with like the hot and ready's. Warm tuna, hot and ready.
Oh no! Calm down.
Yeah. No, but the Little Caesars
986
tuna.
Tuna?
Tuna. I don't know. Just seemed like.
Is it 9? What was that number that used to be like 900 number? 97.
Not 972.
Oh, 972.
956 or. Hold on. I know what you're talking about. That was like the.
Hopefully you're gonna Google it and not just look through your contacts. Let me look it up. Oh yeah, I've got 976. 976.
Is it? Okay.
I think. Let me check. Mom?
Yeah. Oh, honey.
Call my mom real quick.
Yeah.
Not on that line.
And one of the lines.
Just type in like 976 something that's 4 letters.
75309.
Oh my gosh, look. Okay, hold up. I just typed in 976. The very first search that came up was 976 tuna.
Oh my god. That's awesome.
Hold on. I want to see what this takes me to. It's a website. It says 976-tuna.
Oh, 1-900. Or 900 now.
Wait, how was this? This isn't even... Oh, it's just a phishing... Oh, that is disappointing.
Area code 900 went into service January 1st, 1971. So 900 numbers. Now you think about it, they don't have 900 numbers anymore.
No, these were just all like sex numbers. Yeah, it was 976. 976. They're adult service numbers.
Adult service numbers.
Like you would see them in like adult magazines and things like that. Kids. There was a time where.
Oh yeah, you can still go to the Dallas Observer, get a copy of the Dallas Observer. And in the back, there's like escorts and phone sex lines that.
There's how you get porn like physically. Like there was you couldn't just go to your computer and look at porn.
That's crazy.
Just the whole idea.
Well, no, the really again, it's the archaic kind of really like life in the world has surpassed this, but yet it's still around, and it's kind of like. It's sort of
we need to be looking at the porn industry as an innovator and a leader. Like they have transitioned quite nicely to the internet. Why can't the rest of printed word follow suit?
Well, it'll be because like you said, it's the point at which phones and internet become not so much just the norm they are today, but just everything else. Sort of like you don't make anything in VHS when it comes to tapes anymore. But it took forever for them to finally completely 100% become extinct. And so that was just VHS. The written thing.
It sounds so finite when you say extinct.
Well, because they don't make them anymore. To the point you used to have like.
You still buy blank ones.
Right, but I mean you can't buy anything except for blank ones. Same thing with cassette tapes.
Well, I mean, when you say extinct, I think of like dinosaurs, and I can't still go with like a blank dinosaur. I can't go with like
A blank
like a tube of dinosaur DNA and grow my own dinosaur.
I need a stegosaurus.
Like there really is no way of creating your own dinosaur. There still are ways to like.
The content produced on cassette tapes and VHS has become extinct. The process.
Not my content.
The mass produced again, not my content.
This is the stupidest thing ever. I'm sorry.
Well, on that note, we'll go ahead and say thank you for listening.
Don't end on that note.
We'll be back with more of our inane bullshit, but we thank you for listening, and we'll see you another time.